Robstar gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone in here. Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I hope everyone had a blessed Monday to start the week. We are live. Sorry I'm late. Sometimes life be life, and man, and it's just, we just do the best that we can. But here we are. What's up, Kevin? Appreciate you joining in the chat. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream as we go throughout. As we go throughout, talk about what we need to talk about, because training camp's right around the corner, man, and it's interesting because we still don't have a full blown. We still don't have a full blown. Yeah, we don't have a. We still haven't signed one of our rookies, man. We have not signed one of our rookies, and it's unfortunate. It is. It's unfortunate. So, but we need to dive into this, because could there be a holdout? I mean, we're seeing it right now in Buffalo. Like, you're seeing it right now in Buffalo with TJ Sanders, right? You've seen the holdout with Shamar Stewart. And so it wouldn't be surprised to me with everything that we've got going on with this. I don't know. Like, we're gonna dive into this today. It's just, I feel like with training camp keeps coming closer, there is, this is something that still hasn't been addressed. And I think we need to talk about, because you're talking about a guy that we took 51st overall pick, who was projected to be a was projected to be a cornerstone guy, right? Supposed to be a cornerstone guy here in Carolina for his defense for years to come, right? Like, that's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a cornerstone piece for years to come. Why does it only show his neck on that? God dang it. Hold on, let me remove this. Hold on, I have y'all a slideshow, but it's just this shit's being fucking retarded. Hold on. I have a great slideshow. I don't understand. His head shouldn't be. His head shouldn't be doing that. Hold on. We'll just do this. But anyways, I'm trying to fix y'all's slideshow because for some reason it didn't work, which is okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see how that goes. There we go. Yeah. So, anyways, But yeah, I mean, you got your 51st overall pick. You projected someone of who could be a cornerstone piece to Evero's new look defenses years to come. Like, and we already have the rest of the 2025 draft class that has inked in their deals and started prepping for high stakes seasons and all that good stuff. Like this is a high stakes season. No, like I think we can all agree here that this is a high stakes season, right? So, you know, you've got the rest of the other draft class signed, but Scorton still remains unsigned. And am I sweating this? No, I think that, you know, could there be a standoff, right? A contract standoff? Could there be a holdout? Could this get uglier? Like there is that part of me in my mind that's thinking that, but let's be clear. I don't think it's going to. Okay, because let's not pretend this situation is totally normal, right? Either because I think first off, when we look at this pick from Nic Scourton's situation, they made a bold bet on Nic Scourton, right? I mean, for us to understand why Scorton unsigned status, to me, it still does raise an eyebrow for me. You have to consider the context behind how he arrived in Carolina. Like the Panthers, didn't just sit back and let the board fall, right? Dan Morgan traded to move up and get this guy, right? Right. He was one of the more polarizing defensive draft prospects in this year's class, right? And so for me, it's like you got to go out and get it. What's up, Josh? Appreciate you joining, man. But yeah, I just think what's up, Dom 34? Appreciate you joining. Yeah, I just think that when it comes to this, like this is a guy because that many draft analysts had him as a fringe, you know, first round talent. Like Carolina didn't, and Carolina did not. Like they had a solid first round grade on him and believed, he could immediately help shore up this, one of the team's worst defenses, right? Right, and that was one of the most glaring weaknesses we had was edge rusher. But a lot of draft analysts had him as a fringe first round talent. Carolina, we saw him, and Dan Morgan and guys saw him as a solid first round draft grade. And he's supposed to be that guy to help us really shore up one of the most glaring weaknesses we have on this team last year was the edge rusher, right? And again, this wasn't a luxury pick. Right? This was no luxury pick. It was this was more for me like that. This was a statement of need and belief in this guy, right? Carolina wants Scorton to be an impact player right now, not a long term project. Like they want him to be a player right now. That's where the delay gets tricky, in my opinion. What's up, Dom 34? Marcos Cash, appreciate you joining. Broski Bear, what's good? Broski Bear comes in, says only 2 second-round picks have signed league wide. That's wild. That's wild. You don't hear that very often. I mean, like, I don't remember the last time we've had this much issues in the NFL saying that league wide only 2 second-round picks have signed their deals. I can't think of a time that's happened. Right? We'll see as time goes on for sure. We definitely will see. But I've been asking myself though, this chat, is why is Scorton still unsigned? Like the likely answer lies in a bizarre standoff that's currently paralyzing much of the second round. And to get to why this is, and I took time to think about it and did some digging on it. And I didn't realize like what Broski said there was only 2 second round picks aside, but of the 18 players that take him before Scourton in the second round, which he's right, which Broski Bear's right. I did a little bit of extra digging. I didn't realize there was only 2 second round picks, but but there's only 16 players. So 18 that were taken before Scorton in the second round, 16 remain of them unsigned. I mean, that's no coincidence. And the whole thing, this whole holdup really began with the whole Jaden Higgins thing at 30, who the Texans took 34th overall. That they signed him on a fully guaranteed rookie deal. That's a first for a player drafted in that range. And then the Browns followed suit the very next day with Carson Schwarzenegger at number 33 overall, also gave him a fully guaranteed deal. So these two signings reset the market for second round pick, especially those near the top of the third round, right? So Scorton's camp or agent or whoever, like many others, likely looked at those deals around the league and said, well, if they're getting fully guaranteed deals at 33 and 34 million dollars, what's stopping us from demanding similar terms at 51? I mean, this began the stalemate, right? Scorton isn't the problem. The problem is every agent between picks 35 and 51 now are waiting for someone else to blink first. Because nobody else around the league, nobody else wants to be the outlier who signs the lesser deal and sets a bad precedent. I mean, even Darren Grant said it best. He said, just like natural agents, abhor a vacuum. In other words, everyone's holding the cards and waiting for the next domino to fall. That's what's happening here. So the question though is to me then is like, I'm thinking in my mind, okay, we've got training camp coming around the corner. What's actually being negotiated? I mean, the drama here isn't about how much, in my mind, Scorton gets paid. Like the 2020 CBA has largely removed the mystery of rookie contracts with a standardized wage scale, is what they've done. So at pick number 51, normally, I mean, the total value of Scorton's contract is already known. It's around 7.2 million over 4 years, with a signing bonus roughly around 2.4. The thing is what's the sticking point? Well, the sticking point is how and when that money gets paid. Right? So the key here is the key negotiations usually revolve around guarantee money. How much is truly locked in? Signing bonus payment schedule, like how quickly players receive their bonus. Offset language, provisions that impact the future earnings if cut. Cash flow structure. How much is front loaded versus back loaded? Like, so to me, Scorton's team may be pushing for some more guaranteed up front, or they're pushing for a payment structure that mirrors that number 33 and 34 receive. If so, I'll say this: I think it's understandable because honestly, anything less now feels like a concession. Because I mean, meanwhile, with Scorton has been all business since he's got here. I mean, I mean, I compliment him there. He hasn't. Thankfully, he's not out here saying, "Well, I'm not going to practice. I'm not going to be at training camp. I'm not going to be at OTAs. I'm not going to be at mini camp." Like we're not the Cincinnati Bengals. We're not going through that with Shamar Stewart and all that stuff. But it's wild to think that out of 18 guys that got drafted before Nic Scourton, only 16 of them have signed. And I think the thing is like I said, Scourton has been all business. So while the paperwork is probably getting sorted behind the scenes, Nic Scourton is doing everything right on the field and in the building, right? We're seeing and hearing he's participating in rookie minicamp. He's been working alongside Princely Umami. He's staying engaged in team activities. He's showing no signs of discontent. And Gant, the Carolina Panthers, reports that Scorton is working overtime. Apparently, he's putting the extra time in to learn the playbooks, get NFL ready. That's important because this isn't a developmental stash for 2026. Carolina needs him on the field. They could need him on the field earlier than we expect. Same thing for Princely, right? You cut Jadeveon Clowney earlier this offseason in a cap saving move that also made room for Scorton to step into a real rotational role or possibly a starting one if that becomes the case. That's how confident this front office was drafting him. So, but but confidence and reality, right, are two different things, ladies and gentlemen. Confidence and reality are two different things. I think while Scorton's pass rushing skills and bend off the edge are promising, his ability to set the edge in the run game, to me, remains questionable. Right? When I watch, those are the biggest things, takeaways for me. I think pass rushing skills all there. Got a nasty spin move. Again, great bend off the edge, very promising there. But his ability to set the edge in the run game does remain questionable to me. Now, I think he was better off when he was at that 240, 250 range when he was at Purdue. I think that when you watch his tape there, he was definitely better setting the edge, especially in the run game. But when he got in that 280 range, I don't think he was as productive when he was at that 240, 250 range. Right. Um, but Carolina's defense was gashed, last year. Again, I bring it up because not trying to give you guys PTSD and continue to remind you of how bad our defense was last year, but it's kind of hard not to. But, we nearly gave up 180 rushing yards per game. It was 179.6 or whatever the exact number is. But you can't afford a pass rushing specialist who's a liability on early downs, right? Now, I read something from Bleacher Report. It was by Damian Parson. He listed Scorton as one of the 6 NFL rookies under the most pressure to succeed this year. And that was league wide when he made that list. Um, and that's no hyperbole. That's the weight of expectation. And he came out and said, like, Scorton is the edge rusher Panthers fans should hope becomes the guy for this defense, right? And he also wrote down something about like on third downs, this defense needs a bucket getter, and Scorton has the ability to do this at a high level. And he basically said that in a quote. And but the question though really is can he do it consistently against the run? I honestly like Princely Umami better. I think Princely Umami reminds me of a lot of Josh Sweat. I feel like we've got our Josh Sweat of the future in Princely Umami. I like Scorton too, but I feel like what I've seen and heard, it sounds like Umami Yellen is more polished. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's just one man's opinion. Man, I appreciate everybody joining the live stream. Do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button on your way in or on your way out, wherever you're watching, wherever you may be. Yeah, shout off in the chat. Love to hear y'all's thoughts as we go through this. Why is that one training camp preview? Where is my Scorton one? There it is. I've been sitting here the whole time without the Scorton overlay. Wow, what a douchebag. What an absolute douchebag I am. I'm an absolute douche for that. Wow. Let's just go ahead and just yeah, that's basically what that was right there. That's basically what it was right there. Just could have just had the right overlay up, Clay. Just could have had the right overlay up. Unbelievable, man. Yep, yep, yep. That's basically what that was. Sitting up here with training camp preview the whole time when I actually had the actual overlay right there. So unbelievable. But here's another question I got you guys. Do you think there's a holdout coming? Could you see a situation where Carolina has to go through this with under their rookies, like what the Bengals are going through and what these other, other cats are going through, other teams are going through with some of their second round talents? I don't hear anybody holding out really. Um, Besides, I've heard some news, but like I said earlier in the show, TJ Sanders, who got drafted to Buffalo, he could be a guy that right now could hold out. There apparently he hasn't been signed yet. That's with the Buffalo Bills. So I mean, again, it's not just Nic Scourton that's not out here, getting signed. It's it's TJ Sanders as well, like up in Buffalo. And there's 16 others apparently, right? So but do I think that Nic Scourton will hold out? I'm gonna put this bluntly. I don't think so. A real holdout, I think at this point is unlikely. This isn't the pre 2011 like NFL where rookie deals don't spiral, into dramatic meltdowns anymore because teams and you got agents know the framework. The longer it drags, the worse it looks for both sides. What is possible though is a short training camp delay. If the second round log jam doesn't, resolve soon, but that could cause Scorton to miss a few days while negotiations finalize. And while that's not catastrophic, it does eat into valuable install time, especially for a rookie trying to learn a complex scheme of Ejiro Evero's. And if he's still unsigned when veterans report, that's when the non-issue to me will become a concern. It will become a concern. What's going on, Earl? Are you late? I mean, I was late too, man. I was late too. Life was life and before this live stream. No, we have not signed him. Carolina Panthers, y'all. Pretty sure we signed him. No. Check the cap table on Google. This is a clickbait. No. We have not signed Nic Scourton, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a clickbait. Nic Scourton is still unsigned. Still, it says he's expected to sign. He has yet to sign yet. So, not clickbait. So, I don't make clickbait bullshit, and I don't make shit up. But nice try, though. You can even go look that up. He has yet to sign his rookie deal. So, but like I said, I don't see a holdout coming. I mean, again, like I said, around the league, Nic Scourton is not the only one. Again, there's only 2 second-round picks this year that have signed their rookie deals. 18 players were taken before Scorton in the second round, and 16 of them remain unsigned. And again, this all comes down to the fact of the holdup that began with Jaden Higgins that the Texans took in their second round pick. They signed him a fully guaranteed rookie deal, a first for a player drafted in that range. And the Browns did the same thing the very next day with Carson Schwarzenegger that they took him at 33rd overall and also gave him a fully guaranteed deal. And both of those guys got they got fully guarantees at getting picked at number 33 and number 34. That's what that's what Nic Scourton's team is looking at, because they're looking at those deals and said, well, if they got fully guarantees and they were picked at number 33 and number 34, what's stopping us from demanding similar terms at 51? What's Brazen waiting on? I just told you. He's waiting. That's what I'm saying. He's waiting on a fully guaranteed contract, like the same thing you saw for Jaden Higgins, who got picked at number 34, and the same thing that Carson Schwarzenegger got at number 33. You're good, Carolina Panthers, but just I don't do clickbait stuff, my friend. I just don't. I come on here and try to give you guys facts as best as I can. What's up, my main man Clay? What's up, SE Panthers boy 803? Appreciate you. Big fan here. My sources are wrong. I Googled it. It's all good, buddy. I no harm, no foul. Making points. Yep. Try to. Scorton needs to go ahead and sign. I mean, I don't see a holdout coming though. Like I said, I don't see it. You know, it sounds like I don't think this is going to be what we're going through with Cincinnati is. With Shamar Stewart. I don't see this being a case with everything going on up in Buffalo with TJ Sanders. And honestly, I don't, out of the 8, it's crazy though. Like I said, this is just a crazy coincidence. But out of 18 players taken before Scorton, only 16 of them have been signed, or only 2 of them have been signed. So 18 players taken before Scorton, only 2 of them been signed, which means 16 of those players remained unsigned. That is no coincidence. And it all has to do with the fact of the whole Jaden Higgins and the Carson Schwarzenegger fully guaranteed contracts. And so now all these second round picks are thinking, well, I deserve guaranteed money too. It probably is. When you break it down from a financial standpoint, there's some key negotiations that usually get revolved around, ladies and gentlemen. It's guaranteed money. So how much money is truly getting locked in? signing bonus payment schedule. So how quickly those players receive their bonuses. It's probably offset language, which provisions the impact future earnings if cut, and also cash flow structure on how much it is upfront versus the backloaded, right? So again, I think what's happening here is that Scorton's team may be pushing for more guarantee upfront, or they're working on a payment structure that mirrors what Carson Swedinger and Jaden Higgins got for being at number 33 and number 34. And if so, I get it. It's understandable because anything less now feels like a concession. I get it because at pick number 51, the total value, ladies and gentlemen, of Scorton's contract is already known. It's around 7.2 million over 4 years, with a signing bonus of roughly 2.4. That's what I'm talking about, Zach. Yep. Yep. I already made that point known. It wasn't just Jaden Higgins, though, Zach. It was also Carson Swedinger. So, I mean, again, and here's the thing. I give Scorton, like I said earlier, I give Scorton a pat on his back, man, because he's been all business. Because while the paperwork is getting sorted out behind the scenes, he's doing everything right on the field and in the building, right? He's already participated in rookie minicamp. He's been working alongside with Princely Umamielen. He's stayed engaged in team activities, ladies and gentlemen. He has showed no signs of or anything of discontent. Hell, sources even came out from what's his the beat reporter David Gant or whatever his name is for the Panthers. I think is his name, David Gant. Came out and said that he's even working overtime. Right? Because he's trying to learn the playbook. He's trying to get ready. Because again, you didn't draft this guy to be a developmental stash for 2026. You got this guy because you need him on the field right away. Right? The Panthers wouldn't have cut Jadeveon Clowney earlier in the offseason in a cap saving move that also made room for Scorton to step into that real rotational role or even possibly starting one. We don't know. But that was how confident our front office was to get him. So, Brandon, let's just say out of every pick in the second round, none of those players are going to be as special as Jaden Higgins and Carson Swedinger, because those are the two rookies that got guaranteed money. Is that what you're telling me? So out of the 18 players that got picked before Nic Scourton, only two of them signed, which was Higgins and Carson Swedinger, who both got guaranteed money. The 16 remains. You're going to tell me that none of those guys are going to be special. Mathematically, yes. How about instead of saying mathematically, go watch game film instead. Because I've broken down game film of a lot of those players, and I can tell you right now, a lot of those guys are going to be special players. Not just Jaden Higgins, and not just Carson Swedinger that got guaranteed money. Nic Scourton has the potential to be a very special player. A lot of those guys do too. Watch game film instead of saying mathematically. Because where does that analysis come from? Mathematically doesn't make sense. Unless we're talking, are you? Do you work for PFF? I don't see. You can't say that. We don't know that. Game film I've watched. There's a lot of those guys in that second round that have the potential to be very special players. If I go through there, I bet you I could pick a good amount of the out of the litter. How are Higgins and Schlesinger all pros already? They're all pros. How are they? They haven't even taken a snap in the NFL yet. Yeah, well, it's wild, Kendall. Yeah, but Brandon, none of but it's not facts. It's you can say it, but it's how about this? It's not mathematically correct. That's your opinion. You can say, "Well, I believe these guys are going to be all pros," but that doesn't mean that they are. They haven't even taken a snap in the NFL yet. I can't say that I don't know if Nick Scourton's going to be a special, but when I watch his game film, there's a lot to love about him. Yeah, I mean Kendall's right. At least we're not the Bengals. You're right. Hell, they didn't even sign their first round draft pick. Still have it, from my understanding. And then they go and sign max deals to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but for what? So your defense can be asked once again, and you leave your sack king behind once again. The guy that got you 17 sacks the past 2 seasons, and you leave him behind, and then you don't want to sign his counterpart, Shamar Stewart, that could benefit your defense. So to me, the Bengals are going to be a team that goes 8-9, 9-8. Because their defense is going to be so trash that they're going to have to score 100 points a game just to win football games. You go look at that. You go look at that Bengals depth chart on defense. Name me one Pro Bowler on there, please, and don't say Von Bell. I don't think there's one Pro Bowler on that defense. They got rid of the one Pro Bowler on that defense. So yeah, I mean I agree with Kendall. But do I see a holdout from Nic Scourton? No, I don't. I don't think that's going to be the case. Again, I think it's highly unlikely. You know, again, we got to remember that, like I said before, this is pre 2011 NFL. Like rookie deals don't spiral into dramatic meltdowns anymore because teams and agents now they know the framework. The longer that these types of things drag out, the worse it looks for both sides. Now, again, like I said, what is possible though is a short training camp delay. I could see that if they don't get this resolved. That could cause him to miss a few days till those negotiations, get finalized. And that's not catastrophic, but it does eat valuable time up, like I said, especially for a guy who's a rookie trying to learn a very complex 3-4 scheme under a Giro Evero. I think when I will start panicking though is if he's not if he is still unsigned when the veterans report. That's when this becomes a real concern to me. That's when it becomes a real concern to me. What's good, PPP? Appreciate you coming through, brother. Damn. What's up, PPP Gelato King? I don't even want to know where that came from. I think that should just be discussed between you and PPP. Sounds interesting. God damn, I'm losing my voice. The current concern is for teams that need the rookie as a starter instead of a backup. I don't think Nic Scourton is a guy. For me, I don't know if he's a starter yet. I don't think so. It depends on the DJ Wanum situation. I think Pat Jones will fill in the meantime, right? And then either Princely and Mommy Ellen, or Scorton will then take the other side. It depends on the DJ Wanum injury, right? Because right now he's questionable. We don't know where he's at with this injury. He's still listed as questionable, if I'm not mistaken. So I've heard that Princely Mommy Ellen looks the part. I've heard that he looks sharper, more polished than Nic Scourton. I don't know how true that is, right? Because again, I'm from afar. I can't go to training camp. So does mean I won't be able to do that this year. It still makes me pissed off, but it is what it is. The concern is that the ice cream clay. That's all. Okay, nice. Some PPP. Basically, what I'm getting from that is SC Panthers boys PPP can tear up some gelato, which I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Again, I'm not overreacting or anything right now. Again, like I said, these types of contract situation isn't unique. This is part of a broader pattern in the 2025 draft class. Battle leverage precedent, not a sign of dysfunction or discord in this front office. The concern here isn't to me about a bitter negotiation. It's about momentum, right? Right. You traded serious capital to get Nic Scourton. You go and then cut Clowney. You've got all this hyped up around Scorton all off season, who I think could be he could end up being one of the rookies who have one of the biggest impact this year for us. We don't know. I think we'll know more as training camp goes on, and as we get into the preseason. But now that the thing is that we need to finish the job and get him signed before training camp becomes a distraction, right? That's the thing. That's the thing I'm getting at. Right? You don't want to go into training camp and then this becomes a distraction, right? Whereas you want him signed, get him in there, get him rolling. Right. Here's the thing though. If they don't get him signed, again, I just think that this is a risk slowing down a player who's expecting to be a major contributor from day one, who I think could be because of, again, with the whole DJ Wanham situation. Especially at a position that desperately needs consistency. So, no, as of right now, it's not a holdout. If the dominoes don't fall soon, it could start looking a lot like one. Again, I don't think him being unsigned with the training camp approaching is a crisis. I mean, again, the key words here is not yet. Brandon comes in and says, with Worf's out, Falcons figuring out their quarterback. Panthers have a window to yeah. Well, we'll see what the Falcons do with this whole quarterback situation with the whole Kirk Cousins ordeal. It's interesting to how that's going to pan out. Worf's apparently he's only going to be out for 4 games, but you can't tell me him coming back, even if he does come back by 4 games, that he's still not going to be a completely 100% coming off of that type of surgery and knee injury. So, especially with Tampa Bay's schedule starting out, it's tough. It's tough. They got to. I'm pretty sure Tampa Bay starts out with a pretty damn tough schedule. Like the first 4 games are rough, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. So their first game of the season is in Atlanta at the Falcons. Then they're at Houston, going up against the Texans. Then they're home against the Jets, and they're home against the Eagles. I mean, I could see them going. I mean, they could go 1-3 right there in those first 4 games. Never know. It could. It could have turned into an absolute distraction, though. Panthers boy. Again, there. It seems like this has been. It's not just Nic Scourton. Like I said, I feel like this is a league-wide second-round contract standoff, and it's causing a lot of delays. It's not Panthers being incompetent. I said earlier, only out of the 18 players that got drafted before Scorton, only 16 of them still remained unsigned. But again, we also bet heavily on Scorton to become an impact player. So that's why I'm saying if he's not on the field when camp opens, then that's when it's time to worry. That's when it's time to worry, in my opinion. This historically bad defense can't afford to have have our top drafted outside linebacker. Okay, got it. Hold out even for a day of camp. Pay that young man. Let's keep the momentum going. Sign another DB while we are at it. What's interesting is let's go take a look because I'm interested in these fully guaranteed contracts that they keep talking about. Let's go take a look. Let's go take a look at the fully guaranteed contract that Carson Swessinger or Jaden Higgins got. Because Nic Scourton's rookie contract, again, it should be. I mean, here's the thing. His rookie contract, 4-year contract, should be worth over. It's a 4-year contract worth over $8.6 million, right? And it should be like a $2.8 million signing bonus based off of what I'm seeing here, right? But still, he wants a fully guaranteed contract. So let's see what Carson Swessinger, or let's look at Jaden Higgins. Let's go look at his contract. Let's pull this up. So if they don't get if he don't get, he might go to another, right? I don't think that's how it works completely. I don't think so. So let me share this screen real quick. Jaden Higgins signed, as it says here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll probably zoom in on it for you. There you go. Probably can read that better now. Jaden Higgins signed a 4-year, $11.7 million contract with the Houston Texans, including 5.1 signing bonus. But he gets that 11.7 guaranteed and an average annual salary of 2.9. So in 2025, will earn a base salary of $840,000 and a signing bonus of 5.1, and while the cap hit of 2.1 and a dead cap value at 11. So basically, what Nic Scourton is wanting is that his contract, which would be, like I said, around I think 8.6 million for where he got drafted at, he wants that fully guaranteed. Is what he wants. That's what I'm presuming. That's what I think his team wants. But this is what Jaden Higgins got. Let's see what Carson Schwarzenegger got because he was in the same round. Let's see what Carson Schwarzenegger got. I can't remember. Schwarzenegger. I think I spelled that wrong. Yeah, Schwarzenegger. There it is. Same thing. I mean, his was 4 years, $11.8 million contract with the Browns, including a $5.2 million signing bonus. Got the 11.8 million guaranteed. I don't think that's how it works though, Terrence. I don't think it goes like right away. Has any news come out as why the deal hasn't gotten done? Apparently, it's not. Here's the thing, Palmetto Panther. It's not just Nic Scourton. Here's a fun stat for you. First off, I'll say this because and my guy Broski Bear was in here earlier. Comes in and says only 2 second-round picks have signed league-wide. Okay, he's not wrong because I don't know if you heard what I said earlier, but 18 guys got picked before Nic Scourton. 16 of them still remain unsigned. So it's not just Nic Scourton. It's not the Carolina Panthers front office. It's a league-wide thing going on in the NFL because of the Carson Schwarzenegger and Jaden Higgins getting fully guaranteed contracts. They both, Schwarzenegger got picked in the 33rd overall, and then Jaden Higgins got picked 34th overall. And basically, Nic Scourton's contract would be around $8.6 million, and he wants that fully guaranteed for a 4-year. And his signing bonus, I think, is like 2.4, 2.9, something like that. But he wants the 8.6 or whatever it is fully guaranteed. Fully guaranteed is a ridiculous, in my opinion. We'll see what happens. Yes, we will. Yeah, that's been a lot of weird contract stuff going on for the rookies this offseason. Yep. Yeah, and again, it's like I said earlier too, like this isn't pre-2011. Again, rookie deals don't spiral into dramatic meltdowns anymore because teams and agents know the framework again. So, but I will say the longer this drags, the worse it looks for both sides. So we'll see what happens, man. I mean, I'm looking forward. I think again, like I said earlier, I don't think we'll see a holdout. I think a holdout is very unlikely. So this isn't a holdout. If the dominoes don't fall soon, it could start looking like one. I will say that. But again, the concern for me here mainly, ladies and gentlemen, is that this isn't about a bitter negotiation. It's about momentum, right? I want to go into this training camp with momentum, with all my players in there, right? You traded capital to go get this guy. You go and get Cut Clowney. There's been some hype around this guy, a lot this offseason. They need to finish this job, get him signed before training camp, and before it really becomes a distraction, right? Because you risk slowing down a player who's expected to end up having a major contribution, possibly even day one on this defense, especially at a position that we desperately need, especially someone that's going to be consistent. So I don't think this is a crisis keyword yet. Um, if he again, I think if he is not signed, um, again, like I said, I think if he is not signed, um, before like when the veterans show up, right? When the veterans show up, that's when it's going to be a concern. That's when the concern is going to start sinking into me, right? When the veterans report to training camp and he's not signed yet, that's when it does become a real concern for me. Now, if he's out there still working, fine. When did the second pick start not when did the second pick start not signing contracts since when? I'm confused. Yeah, and I'm confused too. The Buffalo Bills are going through the same situation too, Panthers boy, with TJ Sanders up there in Buffalo. If they would extend him on, I think it would have been done deal. I don't think this has to do with anything with Taylor Moton, to be honest with you. Again, I think the thing is why part of me is also like, why am I giving a second round pick fully guaranteed money? Again, I don't remember. I don't know if there's been a time when a second round pick has really gotten fully guaranteed money till this year between Carson Schlesinger and Jaden Higgins. If someone can refresh my memory when someone in the NFL draft got picked in the second round and got fully guaranteed money in their contract. If it happened, please let me know. Yeah, at least it's not Rule and Fit in charge. They could have just traded him away for 7th-round pick, right? Right? Yep. Yep. So we'll see. We just need to keep a close eye on this. I'm going to keep a close eye on this. I know a lot of people haven't talked about it. There really hasn't been even any reports about it, but I haven't forgotten about it. Right? That's why I brought this up tonight because no one's been talking about it. No one has mentioned it. I haven't even seen anybody write about it or bring it up. I haven't seen anybody bring this up. So I'm surprised no one's actually even talked about it. Right? So we'll just need to keep a close eye on it. Hopefully, like I said, they get it done before training camp or as they're going into training camp and they can get it finalized, right? Because again, I don't want this to be a distraction. I want to see this guy on the field, right? So, other than that, guys, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. I posted up some shorts already talking about Jawan Jennings. Him either wanting to be signed or traded. So and then I also talked about Garrett Wilson's big major fully Garrett his extension he got. I also posted about that in some shorts. So you guys go check that out. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Also become a member today. It's less than a cup of coffee from Starbucks. Y'all know what it is. As always, guys, I will see you on the other side. Y'all know what to do. Stay tuned for more. And as always, keep pounding. I'm out of here. Have a good night.